Hello. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited to be here on Give STL Day for GCPA. I'm going to go ahead and bring out some of my friends. This panel is GCPA board and parents. So maybe we will start with the newest addition to the GCPA board, Jason Battaglia. Thank you, Mr.
Good morning.
Yeah. Jason, I'm thinking maybe we can just kick it off with a quick introduction, maybe who you are and how you first got to know GCPA.
Yeah, my wife Julie and our daughters Mia and Nora have been in St. Louis in Webster Grove since 2013, and we came here from the New York City area. And Julie has been involved in for her whole life, and has performed in St. Louis and multiple theaters. So we had heard about GCPA, I guess through friends. I don't even remember, but we started enrolling Mia in classes and camps, and then her very first show was Peter Pan Jr. in 2019, pre-COVID. And have been getting involved more and more over the years. So it's been a great ride.
That's awesome. For all the Julie Battaglia fans out there, you're underplaying your wife's credentials, but we won't embarrass her with that on this stream. Okay, well, maybe we can add in Laura Susek next. Hi, Laura. Good morning.
Good morning.
Same question. If you can tell us how you've been introduced to GCPA.
Yeah. So I too was a mainstay. Kidding. I have no theatrical background whatsoever.
Please start with your performance credentials.
Yes. I have none. My daughter Brooke grew up doing competitive dance since she was 4 or 5 years old, and then decided that she really loved the theater side of things. And so we first came to we also live in Webster, and we came there, and she first tried to do a tryout for Legally Blonde Junior, which was supposed to happen during COVID, and had to unfortunately, that was in 2020. Obviously, we all know when that was. And it was great because GCPA pivoted and gave the kids other opportunities to do things during COVID, like Dear Edwina and some other things. So once we finally were able to do Legally Blonde Junior, it was an amazing, show. And then she became part of Show Starters, which is kind of the younger kids performance group, and started taking classes and just shifted from competitive dance to this. And it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful for me to see her grow in a totally different way than she did with dance. And I just, that's my story. I'm a producer by trade, but I don't get to, we get to do redos all the time in production, and there are no redos in theater.
Yeah, we can see your credentials in the background because you've staged your background so beautifully with your programs. Yeah,
that's right. And just the right amount of headroom, all those things matter.
Yeah.
Jason, you have a little bit too much, but it's okay. We're talking theater, not production.
Next year we'll have a Laura Chica song.
That's right.
That would be awesome. And then lastly, today we have Mary Jo Kang joining us. Hi, Mary Jo.
Hi, how is everyone?
We're great. Can you tell us a little bit about how you first got to know GCPA?
Absolutely. So we actually started with summer camps, and it was actually through a friend. We were in no way even searching out like a theater experience, had no idea that our daughter Kira would really latch onto this. So she did. And after her first summer production, which was Peter Pan, probably, I guess it was 4 or 5 years ago, we were pretty much hooked. And just the community at GCPA is second to none, and we could feel that from the beginning. So now our son is just doing his first, he's doing Musical Makers this year. So they're getting ready to do 101 Dalmatians. And so this is his first go around, and it's been neat to watch him watch his big sister go through it. And we didn't really expect for him to even jump in and be excited about it. But so yeah, Kira's been in for 4 or 5 years now. I just love the atmosphere. Our whole family loves the atmosphere, and she just loves it. And she would be there all the time if she could. But she's done a lot of the productions and classes as well, and summer camps. And so yeah, we kind of fell into it and couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah, you're reminding me that I didn't really introduce myself. We were very lucky that we saw the very first GCPA production. We had a friend who was in High School Musical. That friend is now in Los Angeles, making his own movies, doing some really cool stuff. But we saw the very first production, and then my daughter Audrey was in the very first summer camp when they did 101 Dalmatians. So seeing all the signage again for 101 Dalmatians has been pretty incredible. That's such a fun show, and we have such fond memories of her first experience. I literally had to carry her out crying when it was over because she was saying, I'm never going to see these people ever again. And now when that post-show depression hits, I'm like, look, do you believe me now that you're going to see these people that you're going to be able to carry on here? So that's pretty cool that that one is back. You all, I know, have gotten involved with GCPA in ways beyond. Oh, hi, Mom. There's Nana and Mom saying hi. We have people following us along. Oh, yes, Peter Pan. Yeah, I had one in Peter Pan as well. I'd love to hear each of you talk a little bit about maybe some of the ways you've been able to support GCPA beyond bringing your kiddos along and participating. I know you've all contributed in various ways, and so maybe you can share a little bit about your involvement, toot your own horn a little bit, and talk about why you felt compelled or what you felt you could contribute, or what inspired you to get involved in a bigger way. I will share, just to give you a minute with that question. I joined the board. I'm currently the board president, have been, I think it's been 2 years, taking over from the awesome Dave Gant. But I think I joined the board in 2018, 2019, and it was right when GCPA was securing the space in Webster and making that decision and looking to expand. So we moved into the space, filled up that first floor space rapidly, and then signed the contract to expand to the second floor right around the time of COVID. One of the amazing things I think GCPA did on the business side was really pivot during COVID, and in subsequent years, as we've talked about their growth, I've always said, well, have we gotten back to pre-COVID numbers? But the families stuck with GCPA through COVID as they pivoted with programming, and the growth really was able to just continue. And I know how precious that was to all of us. So those have been some of my experiences being on the board and being able to support the organization. Currently, we are making some more changes to the scale of the organization, moving to new financial software systems, moving to, as we all know as parents, new class management systems, and finding ways. Serving 50 kids is really different than serving the 500 kids that we do now. So it's required some pivots. So maybe with that, I'll point to Jason again, because that's part of what he's been able to step up and help us with.
Yeah, I mean, I was involved with helping a nonprofit back in my old days, back in New Jersey, in Hoboken, with fundraising. And so I wanted to get involved with fundraising for GCPA as well. So I helped with the Raise the Curtain fundraising for last year. And I enjoyed going around and telling businesses in Webster about how great GCPA is. especially in Old Webster, because it's in GCPA, of course, is an old orchard, and sometimes the businesses don't necessarily know, about us, GCPA in Old Orchard. But enjoyed going around and soliciting and just in a friendly way and getting some donations but want to contribute as any way possible. So I was delighted to be asked to join the board, and we'll try to contribute as in any way possible to help the organization thrive. I've just loved the way they love kids and make opportunities for kids from all around the region. I mean, we're amazed at how far people come in to GCPA, right? Because it's such quality, but it's also loving, it's caring, and we've seen our girls just grow tremendously since they've gotten involved.
I don't know if you know this, Jason, but on the committee we called you Santa Claus because every time we'd wish for something, we'd say, "Oh, we'd love a bunch more gift cards," and next thing we knew, here was Jason, and usually with Nora in tow. I think she did some of the heavy lifting and the cute factor while you were in with those asks.
Right.
Next thing we know, here was Jason with just what we had wished for. So yeah, we were definitely showed up in a huge way last year for RTC.
Santa Claus without the hair.
And speaking of RTC, Laura helped us out with the video that really celebrated our 10th anniversary. So maybe you can share a little bit about that, Laura.
Yeah, I am a producer by trade, and so I know the importance of storytelling through video. And I really it was important that GCPA have a way to really encompass what 10 years looked like and all the growth that had happened. And so Rebecca and I worked together on what we wanted to tell people, but also had to have a life that could continue to breathe on the website and let people know about what has happened in the last 10 years. So that was something that I was really, really excited to be a part of. My husband doesn't love to do all those things, but he's pretty handy. So he's been able to help build some things for sets, which has been something that he loves to do and contribute. And I think what really, besides my daughter loving it and, all those things, we love to support our kids. I think what has impressed me so much over the last 4 or 5 years is, number one, I don't think anybody has any idea what the folks do to put on a show. I don't know how Stephanie and Laura and Paul and Lori have other parts of their lives and put everything they have into these shows. It is like going to see a professional show. It's unbelievable. And I was just amazed, and the way in which an environment has been created at GCPA for every single kid that walks through those doors to feel seen and heard and loved. It just, there was no way I couldn't just offer anything that I could as far as, any talents that I have, which are completely opposite of theater talents, to help support the organization. And so, and by the way, the gala that was this last November was like so amazing and so great and so wonderful, and the caliber that it deserved to have for a gala every year for Raise the Curtain, because before it was a little more low key. It was beautiful, it was wonderful, and I was so proud of GCPA to raise the level of these galas, because the level of what they do is also so incredibly high, and it should be represented in the way in which they celebrate and try to raise money each year.
Well, we can put in a little plug. I hope everyone can mark their calendars for September 21st. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Yeah, that's our Raise the Curtain gala. It's going to be at the Sheldon again. The link for tickets is up now, and the one thing we have really come to count on for GCPA is they know how to put on a show. So bring your friends, bring your family, bring someone who might be new to the organization. I mean, really is a great night of dinner and a show, not to mention all the community and celebration that happens. So we're pretty excited to be doing it again. Oh, there it is.
I just marked my calendar.
On the paper calendar.
It's great to just get a table and seriously invite friends. Like there's actual entertainment. Everyone gets dressed up and has a great time. Like it's a beautiful evening and worth just saying, hey, grab some friends and just all go and just have a night out. Because it's really just feels like a night out. It's not one of those stuffy, we've been to a mall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not like that.
The entertainment is baked in, and I'm sure more exciting news to share about what will be happening at RTC will be forthcoming over the summer. But you can snag that table now and get it on everybody's calendars.
Jason, I'm going to put it on my electronic calendar.
Yeah.
In fairness, I have it on both, but we have, the paper
Right.
one I kind of reference to now and then for bigger picture.
I thought maybe Laura had set him up with that visual aid. I thought it was maybe like a CNC type video production.
I should have known better. I should have had that ready. I'm sorry.
Can I bounce off a little bit about what Laura was saying?
Please do.
I just think about my husband and I have not yet had the opportunity to contribute in some of the awesome ways that you guys were mentioning before. And thank you to you guys as well, because what you do is awesome. And without you, GCPA wouldn't be what it is. And so us who are maybe doing some of the smaller things that help as well, appreciate you very much. And I've had the opportunity to do a lot of like the backstage volunteering and things like that, which obviously all of those things help the shows to go around as well, even though they're on a different scale. But my husband, I remember him, just this sticks out in my brain about how, so I assigned him to volunteer, of course.
We call it voluntolding, voluntold.
Yes, that's much better. I'm going to have to implement that word. Anyway, so he was actually like a bit nervous, and he's not that nervous of a guy. He's like, what do I do? Like, where do I go? Like all the things. And when he walked out, he was just couldn't stop talking about how impressed he was with how all of the kids, like basically they didn't need anything. They all, they know where to go. They take the responsibility to get on stage. They're expected to get on stage. And he was so impressed with how much they learned through the experience about independence and just respecting each other, and being on time was a big one, just like being where you need to be when you're supposed to be there. And I think that's one part about the GCPA experience that we are super grateful for is, I mean, our daughter Kira, with all due respect, she would forget her head sometimes, but she's learned so much and just gained so many life skills through this that I think that only organizations like GCPA are responsible for gifting her that. So we love, like, we're looking forward to with Dalmatians, just doing the little things like program pickup and helping with the set, and all of those things are what makes GCPA such a family and just such a special environment. So we're super grateful for that. We're super grateful for the tools that our children are gaining through this. And I always say, like, I'm like a GCPA pusher, like watch out for me on the streets, because like if we start to get on theater content, I'll be like, oh, here, I'm like texting people right away. Like, I'm like, let me have your number. I'm texting them the website. And I love having an organization to talk about that I really am passionate about, and also grateful today just to have this opportunity to talk about it and get it out, because I really love GCPA. And I couldn't talk enough about how awesome of a place it is, and the teachers, and the welcoming aspect, Laura, that you touched on is, like to have a place where our kids are going to be accepted no matter what kind of day they're having, no matter what they're wearing, no matter if they have like social media or whatever. Like, the friends that our kids have made at GCPA are hands down some of the best friends that Kira in particular, just because she's been in it longer, But, you know, she comes home and she wants to call her theater friends. And it's just a great group of kids and people and teachers. And I couldn't say enough.
And I'd like to add something to the kiddos when you mentioned going, you know, volunteering backstage, or when you get to volunteer and you get to do stuff behind the scenes, you get to meet some of these kids, any of the kids that are like amazing individuals. Like I have fangirled. I have met some of the kids that I've been like, I'm going to follow them on Instagram. I want to see where they end up going. Like they're amazingly talented, but also kind kids. And, you know, my daughter has friends at school and she has friends in the neighborhood and she has friends from all these different places. But the one thing you will hear time and time and time again about the kids at GCPA is because they love theater, and a lot of them are very dramatic, and a lot of them like have great big personalities. They're able to come to GCPA and be around other kids where it's really fun and exciting to be whoever you want to be that day, or if you're sad Brooke or you're happy Brooke or you're singing all the time. Her friends in her classroom always bug her because she's constantly singing. But it's just this place where the kids can go, that whoever they are that day, not just in general, but however they feel, whatever they like and don't like, it's all okay, because it's the one place where they can go. It's like if we all look at it as adults, of like those people that you have in your life that it doesn't matter when they come to your house if it's clean or not. It doesn't matter if you look like crap. It doesn't matter where you are in your life. I feel like that's very representative of how these kids feel when they go to GCPA, because when I say they are seen and heard and loved with exactly who they are, I believe that with every part of me that they are.
Oh, look. Oh, awesome. Yeah, it is a very funny dynamic to see a kid on stage, you know, really appreciate their performance, and then you run into them later, you know, and you feel like you know them, you feel like you're there for them, you're following their story, supporting them. We always laugh after the show. It's now become a running joke, but my husband, the kids will go change and they'll come out and they'll be meeting their people and walking around in the crowd. And he goes, well, wait a minute, this is just a bunch of kids. Because when they're up on stage, you know, they're able to tell these big, important stories in such a huge way. And frequently they just look so different on stage. And, you know, then to see them walking around, he's always, that's always his takeaway, is like, well, hold on.
Ragtime is a perfect example of that. Langston, the kid that played Cole House, and Anna Kate, who played Mother. I mean, the fact that GCPA put on that whole show of Ragtime itself, I must have wrote them like a soliloquy of like, I love you all so much. I can't believe what you just did after the show. But like Langston, like my 81-year-old mother was trying to find him on Instagram and like wanted to follow him. And when Anna Wright and all those girls in 9 to 5, like the leads, like the ability for my daughter, who's 14, to look up to these kids and see what they're doing and believe that one day, if she chooses to, that she could take on that role. But like Ragtime we just finished that in April, was unbelievable. The talent was like, I mean, it was mind blowing. It was mind blowing. And then you see these kids come out and they're like 16. And I'm like, I'm sure Langston thinks I'm a stalker because I grabbed his shoulders and I'm like, you were amazing. And he's like, who is this woman? And I was just like, I can't get over what you just did on stage and how amazing you were and how captivating. And like, I'm not just saying this because I'm like a proud parent whose daughter's in a theater group. Like, it was that level of jaw-dropping, beautiful, amazing talent.
Yeah, agreed. No, I think the comment that just flashed up on the screen, Stephanie had put up, was from Avery Bankston's parent. Maybe you can put that back up, Stephanie. I didn't even get the chance to read it. And, you know, I'm laughing because I feel like I know Avery. I don't know that I've ever met her mother. So I'm inferring, but yeah, this is really awesome.
And Avery was amazing in 9 to 5.
Absolutely.
Oh, she too.
Well, and all those 9
like,
to 5 girls are nominated for Arts for Life. I mean, it's not about those nominations, but really amazing to see that recognition. It's very cool. Very cool. No, one of the things I think about, and I think both of you have hit on it, is I didn't really know what to expect of my kids are 15 and 13 now, and I didn't know what to think about having teenagers and what that was going to be like. And you hear these stories, and what I realize is a lot of places don't really have high expectations of teenagers. In fact, they expect the opposite. And so when you can find those places that are going to set the bar really high for your kid and the way that they can rise to the occasion, it's kind of sad that that's a little bit rare. But I think is what makes these shows so special, is we're really seeing them rise to the occasion. And even if it's just the responsibility of your 9-year-old being handed a mic pack, and you're going like, are you going to take care of that? Are you going to know what to do with that? Like, to the other side of the, that you're telling stories about racism or trauma or whatever it might be. And to say, we believe that you have the capacity to do this and we trust you, and everything that I think that can mean to the self-esteem and growth and confidence of a teenager in particular, but really a kid of any age. So that's definitely something I've thought about a lot as a parent of relatively new teenagers, is appreciating those people who set the bar high and give them the
I agree with you.
rise to it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and it's not just it's like the confidence comes from the expectation, like you're saying, and they're becoming competent, like they're becoming truly competent humans because someone's saying, here's what's expected, because you can do it. And it's just pretty cool to watch. And I'm hungry for more.
The other part of expectation that I wanted to mention is, a lot of organizations will be like, well, you take classes there, so you can automatically be in a show. Like, there's all levels of shows that you can be in at GCPA. There's summer camps where there's, not as much a tryout. It's a sign up. You get to do it. You get to be a part of it. But then there are other shows that you have to try out in. And just because you take classes at GCPA and you're there a lot, or you're part of the craft program, does not mean you're going to be in every play. And Brooke has made plays and she has not made plays. She has had auditions and she did not do well, or she just wasn't right for it. It wasn't what they were looking for. And that is real life. That is what the real world looks like. It's for job interviews, for college applications, for relationships. Sometimes it just doesn't work out. I think that another huge benefit of GCPA is you are not guaranteed anything. And it's because you have to learn how to maybe not make something and what you could adjust, or what your song choice could be, or what you need to, what it's just not the right, and understand that sometimes you just don't fit the part that they need. And I think that itself is a huge gift to these kids, because they need to understand if they really want to pursue this later in life, it's even more hard, or it's even more difficult when they're trying to make shows, in New York and trying to try out for things, if that's the route that they want to take. So I think that that's a huge benefit as well.
I'd build on that too, Laura, to say that some of the most impactful situations that we have experienced, and then also I know I've heard this from other families, comes from when a kid doesn't get the part that they wanted. There have been some amazing understudy stories. During COVID, my daughter got called last minute to step into a role. And we'll never forget that experience. We'll never forget that day. It ended up completely different than maybe what, if she would have gotten the part that she initially had her eye on, whatever that might be. That's not even what we're thinking about these days. To the extent that after that happened that summer, I said, this is a college essay. You got to sit down and write about this right now. And not that you're writing a college essay, but you got to remember what just happened here. And I've heard stories from other parents of, kids getting pulled into various roles. And it's just the reality. So
that was 13 and she did amazing. And I was there that night.
It was
amazing. That day, which it was amazing.
It was surreal is what it still is.
And we were just there to watch because Brooke did not make 13. So there was a lesson in that too. So we went and watched it and it was amazing. And we saw her, Audrey, get that chance. And it was something to see.
Oh my gosh.
There it is. There it is.
in her brother's
Nice.
baseball pants.
Mhm.
Got called on
That's
Tuesday
awesome.
to be on a show on Thursday. So yeah, I mean,
That's awesome.
I think when your kid says, "Oh, this isn't the part I wanted, maybe I shouldn't do it," it's hard to know what to do as a parent in that situation. So yeah, major life lessons for sure.
Yeah, and I
Um,
think even if,
Go
oh,
ahead.
go ahead. I was just gonna, just small little add there is that even if, not all of these kids are gonna go to Broadway, right? Some of them will because they're amazing and they love it so much. But I'd say for the people out there who like just are looking for something a little bit different for their kiddo, that they're going to really learn things that will apply to anything they do in life. So taking these life skills and, using them just in college when they do get a different form of a no, they'll know so much better how to react and how to grow from it because they've had these experiences now. So we really try to remember that as well because I mean, maybe they will go on, but maybe not. And so I think every no or every your ensemble helps them to grow and want it a little bit more. And whether it's in theater and life, it's a win, right?
Yeah, and I think we're talking more about the kind of grit side of it, or but there's a whole other side of it too. I think about uh, what Taylor Louderman had to say at Raise the Curtain back in November, and she talked about empathy and compassion, and the idea of exploring stories with your friends, putting on different hats, stepping into someone else's shoes, and the emotional compassion that you learn, not just for yourself and your path, but for others as well, I think is another call out. I hope I didn't butcher her words too badly, but I seem to remember they were something in that vein.
I also love watching the mentoring that happens from the older kids to the younger kids when they're given opportunities to volunteer and help out at the
Mm-hmm.
camps, and also get involved in crew and understanding the full, like you said, Laura, of how much work goes into it, and getting appreciation of all of how much work the behind the scenes crew does in a show is so valuable. I've loved just to see how the GCPA leadership, thinks about that holistically and gets the kids involved.
Yeah. Oh, and there's
Oh,
Mia. That was
that's
from
awesome.
Amelie.
That was Amelie. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Wow.
definitely in with the big kids on that one, right? They were all much
Yep.
older than her.
Yep. She played young Amelie. That's right. That was great.
That's awesome. Well, I was going to segue for a few minutes into kind of why we're all here today. I was in the studio space last night for demonstrations. And I mean, it is hopping. It is really kind of incredible. Um, I was trying to remember I was talking to somebody about just the foot traffic that GCPA has in and out of the building that they're in. There are various other offices in that space, but I think they're more like the dentist where you go once a year or once every 6 months, and most of us, our kids are probably in and out of there 3 to 4 times a week. So it is some well-trafficked space. It was built out just before and after the pandemic, the first floor before and the bottom floor during. I think one of our very first events that we went to was the show starters opening the space. I remember being outdoors and masked, and not sure what month exactly that was, but trying to figure out how we could utilize this newly leased space in the middle of a pandemic. But since then, I think it's been loved pretty hard. Definitely ready for some touch-ups. So that's what we're here today asking for and representing as a donation to Give STL Day to kind of freshen up our space. the good news, putting my board hat on a little bit, is we have a new strategic plan that we've kicked off, and we really believe in the space we're in, and that we can achieve a lot of the goals that we need to be around another decade in the space that we're in. So it's a great time to kind of reinvest in freshening some things up.
And isn't there a match if we raise a certain amount?
Stephanie's going to have to help us out with some of this. So Give Us TL Day is through the St. Louis Community Foundation, and there are all kinds of little tricks and prizes. So I see at the bottom here, this is a power hour. I don't know if it's a full match or if it's a percentage. It's kind of funny. We always get our number at the end of the day. Give Us TL Day, we have a certain number, but then the Community Foundation comes in, and there are certain multipliers or prizes, or there's first donor, last donor, numbers of. So Stephanie's going to look into this, but I mean, this definitely was scheduled during a power hour for that reason. So if folks are following along to our conversation and can pop over right now and make a donation, there will be some X factor.
Yes. So this would be the time, if you're thinking about not going later to donate, this is the time to donate now, is what we're saying.
Exactly. Give us.
Oh, there's Brookie. What was
that's
that? Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde. Yeah.
Gosh, that seems forever ago.
So cute.
That was a great show. Oh,
and Kira.
Oh, there's
somewhere
Kira.
over Indiana. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
She was great in the Christmas Story. She was so great in the Christmas Story.
She loved it. Legally Blonde was that was actually our first. I think that was our first Raise the Curtain, and they did a snippet from Legally Blonde. It was at a school like Lutheran South maybe or something like that.
Yeah, Lutheran South. Yeah.
And that was kind of our first
2 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The
2 years prior to last year.
And side note, Holly Schuler, who is the power behind that Raise the Curtain, she and I used to work together in production 20 years ago at Channel 2. And now our daughter, and we ran back to each other about 3 or 4 years ago when the girls met. And now Kate and Brookie are good friends. And we were all at Moulin Rouge just this last weekend watching the show together, which was amazing, by the way. Which also, one of the guys in Moulin Rouge used to be a teacher at GCPA. Yeah. He taught one of Brooke's come all. So that was awesome to see him.
That is awesome. So I have a little note here from Stephanie. There's a $30,000 cash pool that gets divided. So all the different organizations that are participating generate, and then it gets kind of split out with all these various roles. So help us out, make a donation. You can donate now and later. Actually, I do think
you can donate as many times as you want. You can donate in each power hour.
There's a unique donor, and there's like a number of donors. It's a whole algorithm spreadsheet happening.
Just use your different credit cards to get your points for each donation throughout the day.
Voluntold your spouse to donate as well.
I told my husband when he walked out the door this morning, I'm like, it's Give STL Day. You know who to give to.
Oh, look at this. All right, we've got a challenge. We've got 20 minutes left of the parent panel. All right, make us look good.
I'm doing it right now.
That's awesome.
I was just going to say, if I'm looking away, it's because I'm looking at my phone and working on the clicking.
Well, Laura, you made me think. We've talked a lot about the kids and their friends and their community, but there's quite an awesome parent community that has developed at GCPA as well. I feel lucky to count all of you among my friends and folks that I love to run into and socialize with. And if you're looking to plug into a really supportive parent community, you I think are certainly going to find that as GCPA.
And you're going to find parents that all will tell other parents, your kid did so amazing. I've never been in an area where I'm like, my daughter should have had that part. Like, there's none of that. Rebecca, I believe your son plays baseball. So, well, my son should be playing for, but my son should be whatever. None of that is happening at this point. Everybody is happy to see whoever gets whatever part, because number one, the people that are casting it kind of know what they're talking about. And I just always see so many parents, hugging each other and saying, they did so amazing. You should be so proud. There just isn't, I've never been a part of any, my daughter or my son should have been this, or I can't believe this. I've never really been a part of seeing any of that. And I think that's also like a testament to the type of kids that are probably also there if they're not being brought in by parents that are trying to one up each other.
There are some real fan clubs out there for each other. It's pretty amazing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was thinking that too, Laura, is that after each
that was
show,
fast. $1,265.
Amazing. That's amazing.
After each show, there was so much camaraderie and love too. Like, it's like, because I played sports growing up and didn't do the theater world, but just seeing these kids and just how much camaraderie they have and support they have, I think it's like you said, it's like through the rehearsal process and how hard that can be, but they support each other then, and then afterwards, the celebration and the joy. It's so heartwarming. It's like you want other people to know about it. You want other people to get involved,
Definitely. The kids. Yep. I was just going to say that we had, I guess it was last summer, we hosted a cast party for Newsies. And like, it is different than any group of kids when they are together. It's like you all have mentioned before, like different age groups, the young ones looking up to the older ones, and like they're with each other for such these like condensed amounts of time, right? Each night, that it's actually impossible for them to not form these relationships. And so it's just amazing to watch the relationshiping, the mentoring, the older kids at moments putting up with the younger ones. Like Kira was quite a bit younger, maybe 2 years ago, and I'm like talking to some of the other ones like, thank you, but then the way they respond is, it's not like they're not doing us a favor. They just genuinely love these younger kids, and it's just pretty incredible to watch.
I'm going to put in a plug too for if you have a kid who isn't so kind to go on stage, because I have one of those as well. The tech experiences are pretty incredible. So I'm fortunate my two get along really well, to the extent that when she's in a show, he really misses her. And so he has gotten involved now on tech. And I mean, again, is given real responsibility, is given, real work to do, and kind of sees his role and importance and confidence, and then has been welcomed, has made the same friendships with the cast. I think the community really understands that none of this is happening without everybody that shows up. Mm-hmm. And so I've been grateful that he's found his niche and way to be involved. Yeah. I think he saw what was going on and was like, I want to be a part of this too. Mm-hmm. So I'm hopeful that, I know there's thoughts that over the years that learning about tech will only grow for the kids who are interested in that type of area. Yeah. I know that Stephanie and everyone at GCPA has a million more ideas for how things will grow in the future. Yeah. So if you have a kid, there's a lot of fun stuff happening this summer. I know they'd love to have you on crew, and these Nemo camps are the perfect way to get your feet wet. Didn't even mean that. Pun intended.
But it's not just tech though, Rebecca, too. It's the chance to be, assistant hair and makeup, dramaturg. I can never say that word right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Which is helping the kids understand the time that, help them understand more of what the time of, like for ragtime, what was happening during that time in ragtime, or there's opportunities to be social media and marketing, which these kids are very good at. It's not just tech backstage, it's really being assistant direct, assistant cast, all these things. And there's lots of job opportunities for that in the future as well. Not just kids that know how to sing and dance and act. There's people that need to know how to direct and to be stage managers. And there's so many opportunities. And in the summer camps are great opportunities for your little kids to start getting to know what happens with theater. There's 2-week camps. My niece is doing it for the second year this year. She did it for the first time last year because she came to Brookie's shows and said, I want to do that. And then in turn, Brookie was able, she's going to kill me for still calling her Brookie. She's like, oh, it's Brooke. I also call her Peanut, but she's not watching. So, so she interned for 2 weeks. So she got also like as a, volunteering and being part of things and not just the center of it is important for our kids to understand. And so she's applied to do that again when her cousin does, what is the show? Nemo? Yeah, the two, yeah. And there's 3 different sessions, and those things, like if you don't get signed up for those camps when they open it up that day, that's how fast they go because that's how fun they are. And then there's a performance at the end, a real show, like not just like we're going to go to GCPA, like it's at a theater. It's amazing. These kids, there's playbills. It's such a great experience for young kids to start to get to understand theater and how it works. Sorry, I know I keep being so excited.
No, that's great because I do think there are some spots that have opened up. Now that we know how this community is responding, there's spots left in Finding Nemo Junior, and I think what is that, like 9 to 14? Junior only. Finding Nemo Junior only is one that has the spots. Yeah, ages 9 to 14. Yeah, so those are highly coveted. It's going to be amazing. So if you have someone still figuring out their summer plans, it's an awesome opportunity.
Plus, it's 2 weeks to know that your kids are doing something, for the full day, and they're really learning something from it. And I want to mention, I'm going to stop doing this. I know I'm a talker, and I apologize. Brookie, when she did Legally Blonde, Brookie's had a long history in her life of anxiety. And there were a couple days that Stephanie had to call me and tell me that she was really struggling and wanted to come home. And then a year later, Brookie was having some real big anxieties about auditions. And Paul, Stephanie, Laura, I can't remember, everybody was there. They all met with me and my husband like one night so I could share more about Brookie's challenges. And they were able to understand more about like what type of pushing she could use. And Paul was able to share with Brooke some of the experiences he's had in the past with just worry and stuff. And she was seen and heard, and that nobody gave her special treatment after that, but everybody understood a little bit more about where she has challenges. And it was such a gift for I wasn't asking them to do anything special, but I thought, well, maybe I should let them know. And now she just flourishes there because it's known, and they've really helped her understand, get some tools that I couldn't have maybe just made sure she had in therapy, but she learned them there. And that was a huge gift. And it started with a camp where those anxieties came out, and now she's interning for them. So
that's awesome.
Amazing.
That is awesome.
And to learn that no one is alone in those challenges, because I'm sure it's an environment where many can share their struggles with those types of things.
Absolutely. Our youngest, Keenan, is also a bit on the anxious side. He's just starting out. But I'm just going to plug a little bit on how one thing I love about GCPA is just the multiple opportunities or types of opportunities, I guess, that they offer. So he's in Musical Makers now, which is twice a week. It's basically the full school year. I think, is this the second year they've done Musical Makers, maybe? Yeah?
Yeah.
Schoolhouse Rock was the first one. There was
Okay. Anyway, so I think it's a fairly newer thing. But for him, so he needs something that's, there's repetition, and it is a long duration of time for him to stick to and feel comfortable. For him, we tried to get him to do the camps the summer before, but for him, just that full immersion right away was just not up his alley. So to have so many different just types of opportunities, I think is amazing. And then the classes as well. I remember Kira she was in a class, and the enrollment wasn't even large. I couldn't even believe they kept the class. but I think it's people's donations probably that help them to be able to support that. And I was so impressed that she was, I forget, it was like an audition prep class or something. She got so much out of this class that was, I think sometimes there was like 2 other people there or something like that. And I was like in awe at how GCPA cared so much that they kept this class. They didn't cut this class. And I know sometimes they have to cut classes, and that's understood. But what she got out of that class, and just like the one-on-one personal interaction, some nights she was the only one there. And that's a lot to ask from an organization. And I just really respected how they, it just shows how much they really care. She got so many skills and created relationships with the teachers in that class that were super priceless. So again, just like the variety that GCPA offers, there's something for everyone, and I love that about GCPA.
Ooh,
yeah,
Jungle Book.
awesome.
That's gonna be fun. As soon as we heard that, we watched the movie.
Oh, that's super fun. Oh, you're muted, Laura.
Oh, shout out to our producer in the background, Stephanie, putting all these up and the time away.
Yeah.
Very good. I love it.
Yes,
Awesome.
I know. It feels very professional.
I know. I do always
She's
look
a professional
forward
and knows
to
what she's doing.
this content. This
Mhm.
this Give Us
Got a
TLD
knack for it.
content really makes it feel special and fun. That's awesome.
It does.
Well, I was going to wrap it up. I love all the stories that have come out. I'd love for each of you if you could share what are you looking forward to next with GCPA. That could be, and it could be a couple things if you want. I think it's just amazing to think about the future of this organization. Ooh, we've got 10 more minutes. She's gonna give us.
We got this. We got this.
10 more minutes.
So, Mary Jo, you had hit on this idea of I just feel so lucky to be part of this organization. They're growing so rapidly, and I think we've been so fortunate to be. We're going to look back and go, what a special thing. We know it right now, but I think it's going to be amazing to see where it goes, and for our kids to have been able to be involved at the beginning of this type of organization is just so cool. And there's so much more to come. So I'd love it if some of you could share some of the things you're looking forward to.
I'll go.
Yeah. Okay.
So Kira's only 12, Keena is 8. And always looking forward to the next show, whatever that is, because it's so fun. Like we've talked about, watching the kids grow and flourish. But it has been fun just watching changes within GCPA as well, just as an organization. So, looking forward to the next show, whether it's fall or musical makers again next year or spring, whatever it is, definitely that. But just continuing like this watching this gradual growth of this really passionate, neat organization, whether it's the smallest thing, like if there are some studio fix-ups to be had that GCPA is able to do because of today, that's awesome. And it's neat. And the kids get excited about that stuff when they walk in and they're like, oh, we got, a new door or new whatever it
Signage,
is, new flooring. Yeah, signage. New signs are so fresh, so great. So like those little things are so appreciated.
That's my mom.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, summer camp, woo!
Yeah, those moms are always in the audience, aren't they?
Awesome. So yeah, a step at a time, just the gradual growth, and always the next show, whether our kids are in the next show or not.
Right.
We always love to go and support, and Kira wouldn't miss one. So.
Absolutely.
I'll go, and I'll just say I'm looking forward to Raise the Curtain again. Like Laura, you said, I think GCPA has stepped up on the Raise the Curtains, and this one coming up in September is going to be another amazing one. I know it. And so we're getting to work on it early, and I'm going to be reaching out to some potential corporate sponsors and and I'm hopeful that we're going to have even more than last year. So.
If you are listening and are able to contribute today or not, but want to pitch in, there are going to be lots of volunteer opportunities for Raise the Curtain, whether it's hitting the streets for donations, for baskets. So we'd love to hear from you if you're looking to get involved on the volunteer side of things as well. Thank you for all your different ways you can support. So yeah, it's going to be fun.
For me, I'm looking forward to the Arts for Life, all that coming up this summer, which 9 to 5 and Christmas Story have both been nominated. I'm really excited to see. And Mia Battaglia. And so I'm super excited about that. Brooke is part of the craft program, and she's going to New York this summer, about a week after school gets out. So I'm really excited for her to go and have the opportunity. I'm not going, and she's really excited about that I'm not going. To get some master classes from people that are on Broadway, plus go see shows. They've got a great lineup of shows. I'm super jealous. I'm excited for Raise the Curtain. I'm excited for the main stage shows this fall and spring, which are Oliver and Prom. And I'm just excited to see. I'm just excited to watch. I am excited for more people to keep hearing about GCPA so they can understand that there is an organization in our community, which I'm really proud of, and especially in Webster Groves, that's where it's based, but that cares about top-notch youth theater, cares about representing the community, making sure so many kids that can get an opportunity to be in shows and break down the barriers that may be keeping them from being able to try out. And I'm excited for, I personally think GCPA should be doing a podcast weekly. I'd like it for nationally to be known. And I'll be talking to Rebecca about that later, because they're really easy to do. And Stephanie, I think there's so many things that all the people on the staff that have been involved in theater could be sharing their knowledge nationally. I am excited to see where every kid that I know and have seen is on stage grows, because they literally all make me cry and be so proud of them, even the ones that I don't have a personal relationship with. I'm like a drug addict on GCPA. I just want more.
Well, I will hit on, I think, the one remaining thing, and that's Alice by Heart. For years, the senior high school summer show has been like, we literally plan our summer around it. There were years when Audrey just wasn't quite ready. We would kind of explain to her, here's what Carrie is about. And she would be like, I'm more of a, Disney kid. She's still just a big kid at heart. But my husband and I always made it a date night to go see Spring Awakening or Violet or Carrie. And then this year we have such a unique licensing opportunity to be doing Alice by Heart. So that's going to be the first weekend in August. It's a great one if you have a friend who loves theater, who is always at the Fox or the Muni. It's going to be an amazing caliber show. We can count on that, and it's a really unique one to get to see. So if you don't have a kid that's going to be at GCPA or are looking just to understand more about the organization, that would be a great one to check out as well.
And the shows are worth going to see for anyone that loves theater. If you love theater, you will walk away blown away by these shows.
Bring your coworkers, bring your fellow baseball parents.
And I'll put a plug in for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch article about GCPA's role in youth theater on February 23rd. And just Google St. Louis Post-Dispatch Youth Theater and it'll come up. It's a great article if you haven't seen it.
It really is.
All right. Well, we hit our 10 a.m. mark. I loved getting to chat with you all
That's great.
On a morning call.
Yeah, loved it.
And thanks to everyone out there for your consideration supporting GCPA today. But hope you have that calendar, digital or paper marked for all the amazing things that are to come. There it is. All right. You all are the best. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you.